Vishal and Chaitanya here. I think they will give you further context. Amit, over to you.
Yeah, Anup, I think you might remember for context that we are going to work on figuring out a way to keep track of all the different revisions of components or definitions that are being used in a given application. So we went down a rabbit hole and we kept running into bugs. The one that we are, Shijit mentioned right now, kind of at the lowest level, is that Kubevela doesn't respect the pinned component definition versions. Like you pin it at v1 at v2. What it will do is it will take the last version. Like if you first pin at the rate v1, same component type. Second, you use the version v1, then ultimately it will use v1 for all the different times you use the same component type. That's the bug.
It, it takes the last used version.
Yeah, last use in the application. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I have a last use version of, let's say, V2, I'm trying to downgrade to V1, it will still take V2. Is that what you're saying? Or is it like
Yes.
V1? Because I know we did a change with Kanchan, which was about taking the latest in the major version or using semantic versioning. That's
This
not the case.
this is not in
No,
semantic versioning's context. This is the default versioning of Kubevela. So because we know that's still in use. So how semantic behaves in that context, that is a different story. We haven't dived that deep into this, but for the labels that we want, right? We still want those to be able to track versions without semantic versioning in the picture, like v1, v2. So
Correct.
that was our starting point. So if you write v1 in the end, start with v2, same component type, all the different mentions of component will end up using v1.
Okay, so it is not, even if you change it to V2, it is not changing. It's not actually changing. Did you give it time to reconcile the application?
Uh, not the change part. Like in the same application, you're using the same component multiple times, but the
Oh, okay.
yeah. So like in a workflow step, would that be a correct example? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I understand.
in
So if
in
I have
yeah,
a database with, let's say I have two Postgres databases. The first Postgres database is using V1, the second
correct.
is
Second
using
one.
V2.
Same type,
Yeah,
You're
yes.
saying that both of them will start using V1 instead.
Whatever is the last, yeah. In the
Last. So
application,
then in that case, V2 as part of the workflow.
yeah.
correct. Yes.
Okay. So they
In
might.
semantic versioning, it's different, Anup. There it works correctly based on what we call out.
Okay, so then this is some context pollution happening. Um, Fog, do you have any input? Do you have any insight on where we should be looking?
I'm not sure. It feels like just a bug to me.
Yeah, and most likely in the workflow, right?
Uh,
It's There's one more interesting part that this same uh, behavior works properly in case of policies when you use them with pin versions, but not for components.
In policies and workflows as well, Amit.
Oh yeah, workflows too.
Wait, when you say workflows, you're talking about independent workflow runs, or you're talking about application workflow?
I'm talking about application workflow, Anup.
So it works fine in application workflow, but if you
Yes.
don't use a workflow and let the application build its own workflow behind the scenes, then it
No,
It
fails.
doesn't work.
I mean when we use the workflow step definition, when we use the
Versions
workflow
of
definition with two different versions.
Okay. Uh, okay. I'm seeing
I
example.
think it happens in like the automatic generated workflow, like the deploy step. Probably in the deploy step, or we just didn't respect the component versions, and we can look at that part.
I mean, we went ahead and debugged that issue, and we found out that the app file which is being passed is taking the component definition name into the consideration, but not taking the version. So what is happening was in the app file, if there is a single component where two versions of that component are being used, then in the app file, in the related component definitions field, we get only one component definition, which is latest, because we use key value pairs there. Nope. So the
So
component definition name is the key and the value is the template.
got it. And the hash, so because you already have the same key, the last one
Yes.
overrides the first one.
Yes.
Okay. So this seems like a bug. I think
Yeah.
we
So
should.
this is what we want to confirm, Anup. This is actually a bug, or is it like a something expected? Or
I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
this
it's
is
clearly a bug.
definitely not expected behavior, right? We don't want to override version. So yeah. So like Fox said, I think we should just fix this as a bug.
I mean, we have created a PR. It's not fully ready yet, but what we are doing in that PR was, instead of just taking the component definition name, we are just taking the whole type which is being passed in the component. So it's like component definition at the rate. No, the key will be becoming component definition and at the rate with that version, particular version.
Yeah, that seems valid enough to me. I don't because that way we'll make sure that it is not we're not like overriding another component
Yes.
in the flow. So yeah, that feels correct to me. Unless Fog, you think otherwise.
Yeah, we can just like create a PR and fix it, and I think yeah, it's a bug, so we can just like fix it.
Yep. All right.
yeah, we have already created a PR, right, for this Chaitanya.
Yeah.
The PR is in draft, Srijit. I
Okay,
mean,
okay,
Still in
okay.
progress. We just
Yeah. So now since we have the confirmation, we can continue with it and then send it across for approval.
yeah.
Awesome.
All right. The second one is the security concern that we wanted to bring up here. Gautam, would you like to take that up?
Yeah, sure. Hey, Anup and Fog. It's on the thread that Vishal was working on. The Vela core pod having a cluster admin scope within the cluster role and cluster role binding. You did comment stating trying to see if we can pass a parameter within the Helm installation. There is one such field that says like cluster authentication enabled. On doing that, it sort of limits with a different cluster rule, but the scope is completely limited, meaning uh, using that authentication enabled, if someone tries to deploy a sample application YAML, it sort of fails because it does not know the API rule or group of deployment and pods. So that's where we are sort of stuck now. Per Fox comment, we understand there is a reason for cluster admin, meaning Vela core needs to create different objects, different resources.
Correct.
So I just wanted your insights on that.
Yeah, so I'll let Fog comment after what I'm saying, but I think it is essential that Vela has access to uh, most of the namespaces where the application is going to be created and run and reconciled, etc. So that is required in most
Mm.
cases. But now, if the security condition is that hey, there are probably certain namespaces that where Vela should not have access to because those are sensitive, then we could use some sort of I don't know, webhooks or anything else that could restrict access for Vela into those, right? I mean, use that as or use that in the cluster roles as well, if possible. I don't know if we can do a namespace set of patterns to exclude from Vela to access. That you guys might have to check it out, but couldn't we do something like that?
So in this case, the initial issue was the cluster admin scope actually listing the secrets. So that was the initial problem statement with that specific open issue. We wouldn't be able to limit the secret access here because I understood from Vishal, maybe he can comment after me that Vela core has a workflow. It create configs or reads config, meaning it needs access to the secret like list, watch, and write. So it's more about limiting the secrets. So
And secrets that are namespace scoped, right?
yes, yeah. If we go about thinking of creating role and role binding, then that would be it
Then
would be tough to sort of narrow down the namespaces, which all namespaces to.
yeah, then there might be just way too many depending on
Yeah.
cluster and companies. So I think maybe we should fog just say that this is how it is and this is the expected behavior. Um, I don't know. Do you have any other suggestions, Fog?
Uh, I actually feel the same with Anup because it's just expected behavior. We Vela do need those kind of permissions. If we do want to resolve that issue, probably just restrict the Vela core to Vela system namespace. Even though Vela still have all the permissions in that same that namespace, but it's only a namespace, so it's fine. But like for the most of the cases, I don't think this parameter should be enabled because basically all of our users are just using Vela Core for watch on namespace so that they can deploy applications.
Mm.
Yes, so we can probably deprioritize this and we can say that, hey, we will look into this, but at this point, this is the expected behavior. And if they have any suggestions, because the problems is going to be like if you're going to do an inclusion based namespace scoped role access, that's just way too many.
Yeah.
It could be the same for exclusion also. We don't know, right?
Mm.
So that then managing that would be just way too much effort for the platform engineer. So I think we can say this is expected behavior and close it out.
Yep, sure. Just one thought that we had was within that open security issue, it's like the Vela core, let's say someone does a exec and then they sort of intrude and explore these options. So um, uh, would it be fine we disable the exec on the Vela core pod for just disable at the container level, like when you build your Docker image, remove the shell of that specific container so that at least we partially close this out, but from the worker node, they would be still able to list the secret. But yeah, that's the second part of the issue.
Um, I think so. I think it should be okay. We don't, yeah, our control plane should be as secure as possible. So if you're using, minimal images, then great. We can use debug containers to figure out if for testing, etc. So I think that should be fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So the next thing is Anup and Fog. We want to get your inputs or your some amount of clarity on something which is happening with Vela. What is happening right now is we are using a job to create the certificates for the webhook call, right? And we're not using the cert manager. And because of this, what happens is whenever there's a Helm upgrade which fails, the webhook certificates get corrupted, and it leads to a whole a failure of the webhook interception itself. But on the other hand, if you use the flag which is there for the cert manager, then this entire thing can be avoided. Is there a reason why we decided to use a job and not the cert manager? And when we look at the history, we see that it was first cert manager, and then we shifted to jobs.
Um, before my time, I don't know. Fog, do you have any insight?
I actually do not know that history part.
Um, I think if we know that using Cert Manager would actually make it easier and better, we should go ahead and do it as long as you can prove that it's not going to cause any other issues.
Yeah.
Got it.
But that
Okay.
requires cert manager controller to be installed.
Yeah, so it'll be a whole chain of things that you have to make sure is part
Yeah.
of the Helm install and everything, right? So yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Chaitanya, that is something that we would have to, end to end evaluate and see by doing this, what all other changes we need to bring in.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. But at least now we know there is no actual reason behind why this shift happened from job to cert
No,
manager. So
that's not true. We just both Fog and I do not know why is the
yeah.
right answer. It's not like that. They
Yeah,
probably
but there's nothing stopping us from going and trying cert manager now, correct?
absolutely try it out,
Okay.
test it out in our internal clusters and see how that goes, and then if everything's fine, then we can contribute that back.
I think the
Uh,
reason for not using Server Manager is just because we don't want to install extra deployments, but I think it's fine if we need certs.
Yeah.
yeah, we feel that too. I think with Cert Manager, it would be much more smoother in handling these um, failed upgrades in our perspective.
Let's
Yeah,
verify
so
that.
we will verify that. Yeah,
Yep.
we'll do that. Anu. Yeah, this is all we had for today.
Okay, cool. Any things that got, I mean, these were questions, but any major chunk of work that we've completed recently since the last community call?
We have mostly worked on the bug fixes, Anup, not from a feature perspective. We are focusing primarily on the security issues which are open. Plus, we have come to a situation where when we fix one bug, we are realizing that it exposes another bug, and we are continuously fixing one after the other. But yeah, that's mainly what we are working on. But Amit, if you have some more insights on other aspects, please feel free to add.
Uh, I think Anup, you probably already have seen those PRs where we are upgrading Kubernetes library and Go versions. Uh,
Not for me, primarily for the community because this is being recorded, and just for the communities.
yeah. I meant even on the channel we share. So since we have been working on adding that one-thirty-one support, so what we are currently on workflow repo, and our goal after that one is the main Kubevela repo itself. Uh, my I think it would end up being a question itself for community, even for you, for what aside from the test that we already have, um, I think I asked Jerome, I asked Jerome also once, what other checks should we add to confirm that this does not break any existing feature aside from the test that we have? Because just updating the library version, assuming assuming all the tests pass and everything,
Mhm.
should there be another layer of test specifically just to test out that updating the Kubernetes version, library version, doesn't break anything, specifically just for that?
Okay. Just to qualify your question again, what you're saying is that as you guys are working and developing to increase the Kubernetes versions and the library versions, you're asking for, is there anything else that you need to do apart from just running the end-to-end tests that are there in Kubevela? Is that accurate?
Yes, aside from those tests, something that is specific to Kubernetes library versions. Like I think in Kubevela, it will be from 129 to 131. So it's still like two minor versions. So something that we can check.
The question is, how can we enhance this test?
Good
Yeah.
question.
I think like the most of the tasks are just inside of Kubevela repository, but yeah, since we have like cluster gateway and also workflow, probably if we want to make sure that the upgrade is properly handled, we need to like first upgrade workflow and the class gateway and maybe uh create a draft PR for Kubevela and use the updated version of class gateway and workflow and to let CI to run all of these tests inside of Kubevela because Kubevela repository holds the most tests. So if that test was like were all passed, then we can have more confidence.
Yeah, we already started from the bottom level, cluster gateway, cluster register, kube trigger. We have upgraded the versions there already. So we are now reaching kubevela level. So we are updating references in all the other repos to our commits where we have already rolled out these changes, version upgrades for other repos, cluster register, cluster gateway, as you mentioned. So by the time we reach kubevela, all the other repos would already have these versions upgraded.
Yeah, I see. Because like upgrading like the version in the smaller repository could be easier because they don't have
Yeah.
that much
Yes.
tasks. Yes. So If we just want to confirm earlier, then maybe just create a pull request inside of Kubevela first and use that updated version. Then we can verify.
Okay.
Okay. So our branch will contain updated references to all the repos that we have upgraded, all the updated commits plus updated versions of the libraries.
Yes. Yes.
This would be cool. So
All right.
1.3.1. Yeah, I think we should look at, and Kubernetes has released 1.3.3. So maybe we should try to be like N-2 sort of.
we are in 1.3.1 now.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So since you said it's for the community, I will call out the major things that we have done in the last since the time we had the last community call. We have fixed some issues with the trade we had with resource.queue. That's one. Then we noticed that Vera dry run command behavior had to be updated to make it in line with kubectl behavior. We have completed that. We have also done the same for Vela up command as well. And we've also updated the registries to now point to kubevela.net so that everything works as expected. Then K8s has been upgraded to 1.3.1. Go has been upgraded to 1.2.3. And Kin OpenAI has also been upgraded to 1.3.1 version.
Awesome.
So these are the major things that we have done.
So I have a question on the registry update. I remember that we had the certificate issue, connecting to the registry that was already pointing in there. And I believe I'd asked to use the GitHub as a registry. So did that work, or did you guys have to do something else?
Just to clarify, the registry update that's done. That's for test where we point to GitHub URL.
Helm chart URLs.
The Helm chart URL were also updated, but Anup, the particular GitHub repo, GitHub URL that you were referring to, that is now used in the tests. But we also have to update it. That's in the that's on our roadmap to update that URL by default. But we didn't update it blindly because there is one catch with it. The folder in the repo is not up to date. There is a script there. I don't think that script works. The purpose of the script is to every time there is a release, you 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 go through all the definitions, all that have been updated and put it in a centralized place inside a folder, and then you point to that folder as a registry. So whatever content it has right now, it's outdated. So we can't point to it yet. We have to update it and then we will make it the default.
Okay. So can we create a GitHub issue for that, and so that we can work
Yeah,
on that?
yeah, I'll create it. I have the details already. I'll put it there.
Awesome. Cool.
That's it, Anup.
Cool. Anybody else have anything else to say? If not, thank you for your time, and I think Fog I will see you in the next community call.
Yeah, sure. Thank you all for coming today. Right. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.